Hello everyone, welcome to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator, and today we are starting with a really important topic in the Hindu newspaper. This is Russia strikes Kyiv as G7 summit opens. As we all know that the G7 summit, the 48th G7 summit of 2022 is taking place, and here the grave issues or the serious issues that are going to be discussed in this summit are Russia's issue, Russia and Ukraine's war that is going on right now, the COVID-19 pandemic, how it impacted poverty levels and the food security levels, the environment and climate related topics, the increased pollution level. All are these topics that are going to be discussed in this summit. And here when we talk about this news article in the newspaper, the main focus of the article is the G7 ka summit. What is G7? Now G7 ke upar na there have been many questions that have been time and again asked in not just in the preliminary examination but also in the mains examination. So at the end of this lecture we are going to solve one prelims related question and one mains related question. I hope you all are ready for this lecture, and the PDF of this lecture, the class notes are all handmade and they will be uploaded on our Telegram channel. The link of the same is given below in the description box. Let's get started without any delay. When we talk about the G7 summit, the article says Russian missiles struck the Ukrainian capital Kyiv on Sunday as G7 leaders gathered in Germany to discuss further sanctions against Moscow. Now here, first of all, let us understand from the perspective of prelims, Moscow is the capital of Russia. Okay. And it was established, this Moscow was founded in 1147. Okay. 1147 में इसको इस्टेब्लिश किया गया था मॉस्को को, और ये रशिया का कैपिटल है. इट्स द कैपिटल ऑफ वेस्टर्न रशिया. एज इन द मैप you can see on the west side of Russia the capital is located, it is situated. That is why it is on the western side of Russia, and this capital of Russia, Moscow, is on the Moskva river, which is in western Russia. So this is again important point for your preliminary examination. They can ask you the location of Moskva river. So Moskva river is river on which Moscow is established, and it is on the western Russian side. Okay. Now when we talk about G7, G7 is an informal organization. It's not a formal organization or institution. It's an intergovernmental organization. It does not have a headquarter. It does not have a formal constitution. That you have to remember. It's an organization where the powerful 7 countries of the world, they come together, they discuss different issues that are going on in the country, and every year the summit is conducted. तो पूरे एक साल में जो जो कुछ हुआ है, जो जो घटित हुआ है, वो सब डिस्कस किया जाता है इस समिट के अंदर. And originally G7 was known as G8. Originally in this summit, in this organization, there were total 8 members. That is why it was called as G8. And the 8th member was Russia. But then Russia attacked Crimea and annexed Crimea in 2014. And that is why Russia was removed from this organization, and this organization became G7. So G7 is a group of 7 countries founded in 1975. And 2022 में जो इसका summit हो रहा है वो 48th summit है, and every year this summit is conducted, and बारी बारी से हर साल rotate होता है host जो होता है इस summit का country wise, जितने भी member countries है. This year Germany is hosting this summit in 2022. That you have to remember. And all the G7 countries plus India are part of G20. India is not a member of G7. India is a participatory partner member. That means not an official member, but yes, India is also invited when the summit is conducted. Okay. So the 7 countries which are a part of this G7 summit are UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and US. That you have to remember. देखो UK, US तो है ही है. तो 2 U's are there. Okay. Then we have Canada, France, Germany, CFG. ठीक है, CFG हो जाता है हमारा. उसके बाद इटली और जापान आ जाता है हमारे पास. तो 2U CFGIJ. Okay, this mnemonic you can make to remember. 2U means UK and US, CFG means Canada, France, Germany, and IJ means Italy and Japan. Okay, so these are the 7 countries which are a part of G7 summit. Russia was earlier a member of G7, but then it was removed after 2014, and that is why it is now G7. And G7, as I told you, it's an informal organization. does not have a formal constitution. That means it does not have a fixed headquarter also. And the decisions are non-binding. Whatever decisions are taken in the summit, it is not mandatory or compulsory for the member countries to follow those decisions. Okay, these are just discussions, suggestions and solutions that are talked about in this summit. And the common interest of this summit, or the common topic of discussions, are global economic governance, international security and energy policy. These three are the common pillars of topics that are discussed in the G7 summit. And also remember that in this summit, not just the member countries participate. There are other organizations also which are invited to attend the meeting of the summit. For example, WHO, World Bank, United Nations, IMF, etc. And even European Union is a non-enumerated member. It is not a formal member, but yes, it is also invited. The European Union members are also invited to take part in the summit. Okay. Now, another important point is, let's understand the history behind the removal of Russia from this summit. So Russia was formally inducted as a member in the G7, you can say organization in 1998, and that is why G7 became G8. 1975 में G7 establish हुआ, रशिया को 1998 में as member invite किया गया, तो रशिया के joining के बाद ये G8 बन गया. But Russia tried to attack Ukraine and annexed Crimea in 2014, and that is why Russia was criticized because of its action. क्योंकि क्रीमिया को उन्होंने एनेक्स कर लिया था, यूक्रेन से काट दिया था, तो इसलिए इसके एक्शन को रशिया के एक्शन को क्रिटिसाइज किया गया, एंड दैट इज व्हाई रशिया वाज रिमूव्ड, एंड दैट इज व्हाई G8 बिकेम G7 अगेन. ओके, यहाँ आप देख सकते हो रशिया हो गया उदास. सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस, लेट अस सॉल्व अ क्वेश्चन, प्रीलिम्स बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, वेरी इजी. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कंट्रीज इज और आर नॉट अ मेंबर ऑफ G7? इनमें से कौन सी कंट्रीज G7 के मेंबर नहीं है? Russia, Canada, Italy or Japan? Very easy answer. It is Russia. Russia is not a member of G7. Okay. Canada, Italy, Japan. Yes, they are the member. We memorized the member countries. 2U, then C, F, G, I, J. That is US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy and Japan. Before we move forward, here's a small announcement. From 27th June, that is today, till 30th June, Unacademy is announcing 20% discount on all the UPSC CSE subscriptions. तो अभी 3 दिन के लिए Unacademy 20% का डिस्काउंट आपको सब्सक्रिप्शन पर दे रहा है, ठीक है. प्लस 10% का आपको और एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा इफ यू आर यूजिंग माई कोड अर्पिता10. ये है कोड, अगर आपको विजिबल नहीं है, इफ यू आर यूजिंग दिस कोड 10% डिस्काउंट यू विल गेट. 20% तो ऑलरेडी Unacademy आपको प्रोवाइड कर ही रहा है. So if you subscribe to Unacademy Plus today, even for 12 months or 18 or 24 or 36 according to your preparation, ठीक है, then you can get 20% discount, and this is only valid till 30th June. सिर्फ 30 जून तक valid है. Unacademy पर नए batches start हो रहे हैं 29th जून को. We are launching GS and CSAT batches. सब कुछ covered होगा, pre to mains everything will be covered. Plus we are launching optional batches also. So make sure that you subscribe today and get 20% discount. Plus we are launching UPSC की test series, mains की test series also we are launching. Again, अगर आप अभी सब्सक्राइब करते हो 30 जून से पहले तो 20% डिस्काउंट आपका है. So make sure that you take your subscription today. The links are given below in the description box. Let's get moved on. Now here second question is mains based question. The question says, discuss the relevance of India's participation at G7 summit. So I told you in the beginning of this lecture that India is also invited every time this summit is conducted. India is also invited to participate it. So what is the importance of behind India's participation? See, when we talk about G7, we know that G7 is an informal group. That means यहाँ पर जो भी decisions होंगे वो binding नहीं होंगे, ठीक है. But this informal group is also headed by industrial nations, big leading industrial nations like Canada, France, Germany, and India has been invited thrice under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. India has been invited as a goodwill partner, as a partner country, not a member but a partner country. And when Manmohan Singh ji was the Prime Minister, India was invited 5 times. Okay, 5 times we attended this summit. So that means India's participation shows that it is a reflection of India's growing clout in the world, India's growing you can say reputation in the world. it shows increasing acceptance and recognizing that India needs to be a part of every decision that the world makes, or India can be a part of, global challenges to come up with solutions in the global challenges. अभी प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी भी यहाँ पर स्पीच देने वाले हैं G7 समिट में, ठीक है, इश्यूज को डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, अपने आइडियाज और सजेशंस देने वाले हैं. इसका ये क्या दर्शाता है? ये दर्शाता है कि इंडिया के बात को, इंडिया के सोल्यूशन को, इंडिया के आइडियाज को भी उतनी ही इंपॉर्टेंस दी जा रही है जितनी बाकी नेशंस को दी जाती है. सो दैट इज अ गुड साइन फॉर इंडिया. एंड G7 समिट्स मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव इज वी स्टे यूनाइटेड, we stay together. So if India is getting included in this summit, that shows the inclusiveness of the world now, कि कितना इंडिया को अब अपने अंदर समाने की कोशिश की जा रही है और कंट्रीज के द्वारा. And when we are given the chair among the members of UN, WHO, IMF, World Bank, that is a great, you can say image of India that has been reflected. G7 wants to make the world a better offer on infrastructure investment as well. So economically, politically, financially, health wise, medically, in all these spheres, India is also getting a say, getting a word. And we know that G7 countries are economic, political heavyweights with the power to tackle urgent global issues. And amongst them, if India is also included, that also will lead to prosperity of our own economy, right? So we know that G7, it's a formidable global policy forum. You can be asked question on the importance of G7 summit as well. They can ask you in interview, or they can ask you in even mains, that if G7's decision is not binding on the member countries, then why G7 is important? अगर G7 एक informal organization है, तो ये इतना important क्यों है? Why it is important? Because the G7 countries has the membership of 7 of the 9 largest economies in the world. So whatever they decide, whatever they discuss, has a very long lasting and great impact on the world's economy. 7 of the 15 countries with the most per capita wealth are a participant of G7. 7 of the 10 leading exporters are members of G7. 7 of the 10 leading donors to United Nations are member of G7. So whatever decisions or whatever discussions are done in G7 summit, they have a long lasting impact on the world's economy, on the world's, you can say, a mindset. That is why it is important. Plus the humanitarian organizations and agencies, they also follow the summit very closely. So whatever outcomes are, come out of the G7 summit, they have a long lasting impact of the people of the world as well. And G7 summit amplifies the member countries' individual influence. It acts as a stabilizing force in the economy, in the world. That is why G7 summit is important. That is why this organization is important. So this was all about G7 summit. Within 13 minutes, we discussed all about the G7 summit without wasting any time.